Is Wreckgar supposed to sound like wrecked car? Wrecked gar? Wrecked car? Did you know that even with seatbelts, people die all the time in car crashes? I thought that was interesting. If it wasn't clear from the last few seconds of this video, today we're talking about Studio Series Wreckgar. So how did I acquire a specimen such as himself? Well, I managed to pick this guy up at the local Wally World. Yeah, surprisingly, sometimes you can actually find new figures in store, though not often. Now, Citra already did his review on this figure recently, but I was already planning on doing this guy, okay? So don't get fucking mad at me. I think there's a lot to like about this guy. The word I used on Twitter was robust, and this dude is beefy. He fills up so much of the box and packaging. I was very shocked. Wreckgar stands with an impressive stature, nearly matching the absolute mass of Cyclonus, and dwarfing basically every Autobot. Wielding a handheld spinning blade, he features a pair of removable wheels that can either function as decorative or defensive options. I love details like the saddlebags becoming his hip skirts, and the way the wheels feed over the spikes, so they end up looking like they protrude out of them. And look at this! His hand swivel. Bro, I love the blocky design and that the details are sort of kept to a minimal. It makes them feel like their placement is more deliberate. Slapping a ton of details on a figure is impressive in its own right, but it's not always necessarily meaningful. It reminds me a little bit of like early fans project stuff. Citra made a big point in his video about the ab crunch on Wreckgar, but I thought it was kind of novel because I couldn't really think of many other figures that could do this. Just Fall of Cybertron Optimus. But I'm kind of convinced that this is mostly an unintended feature, or rather a convenient one, and is strictly meant to be a transformation joint. Obviously I could be wrong, but yeah, I really like this robot mode. It's very cool. Transformation is pretty simple, though at first I had a little bit of trouble positioning the chest and the arms correctly. Just push these panels into the body and you'll have enough room to peg everything together. And you end up with this fairly eclectic looking motorcycle. You know, just like on Chips. Have you guys seen clips of Chips? I stole this joke. You know, they don't usually do bikes in Voyager scale. You know, I thought Power of the Prime's Wreckgar was a big bike, but this is a big ass bike. I dig the bare bones industrial look of it, especially with these oranges and browns, giving him this rather rusty appearance. But the shape of the bike itself is a little muddy, since it's just made up of his warped body and limbs and doesn't resemble a real-life bike. But I think that this is secretly genius. If the fan theory is correct that Junkion is the missing chunk out of Cybertron, the Jigglyons must be an allopatric race of Cybertronians. But obviously, they've developed differently since their anatomy seems more loose and replaceable, based on the way they take damage and quickly rebuild themselves. So without such rigid anatomy, it's possible that the processes of transformation have stayed instinctual but become less sophisticated. So when they see cool motorcycles on TV, instead of trans-scanning into them, they just contort their bodies to look like them. This is the start of my deep lore Transformers Theory channel, by the way. Transformers Theory? Wreckgar is Wheelie's dad. Weapon storage on the motorcycle is done via this little port on the back, and it's kind of annoying to plug the weapon in since there's not a lot of real estate to hold onto it. And it's so easy to try to grip the blade of it, only for it to spin out of your hand and fucking fly all the way across the room. Alright, now this is important safety advice, so fucking pay attention, alright? Due to laws and regulations and shit, pointed parts on toys are supposed to be rounded off so that they're not sharp and thus kids are less likely to hurt themselves with them. And I don't think that they're allowed to be too long either. This is the reason why we never get Optimus with lengthy, girthy smokestacks here in the West. But Japan, well, Japan, they get some long and strong. But holy shit, Wreckgar's got these fucking big ass spikes pointing out everywhere. I mean, they are rounded off, but this seems a bit inconsequential since they're still like 1.5 inches long, and that's definitely more than enough to like damage your eye or something. Are Studio Series figures like considered adult collectibles so the rules on them are more lax? I don't believe that justification worked before, so either the rules have changed or they just didn't care. Still, I am shocked by the blatant disregard for my personal eye safety. Please do yourself a favor and wear protection when handling your little guy here. And you know what? You know, put some goggles on too. But anyway, I like this guy. I think he's pretty cool. I'm glad I bought him. And it's just great getting, you know, such definitive interpretations of these characters because, you know, hopefully that means in the future we won't have to redo these things. And then, you know, going forward, we'll be able to just do whatever we want, you know? Oh, you want Pride Bulkhead? Oh, no, no, made him G1. Go fuck yourself. Haha, yeah, G1 fans, we stay winning.